Horrid Henry and the Football Fiend by Francesca Simon. A book of 3 stories. Story 1. Horrid Henry peeks at Peter's diary. Horrid Henry peeks at Peter's diary. "What are you doing?" demanded Horrid Henry, bursting into Peter's bedroom. "Nothing," said Perfect Peter quickly, slamming his notebook shut. "Yes, you are," said Henry. "Get out of my room," said Peter. "You're not allowed to come in unless I say so." Horrid Henry leaned over Peter's shoulder. "What are you writing?" "None of your business," said Peter. He covered the closed notebook tightly with his arm. "It is too my business if you're writing about me." "It's my diary. I can write what I want to," said Peter. "Miss Lovely said we should keep a diary for a week and write in it every day." "Boring," said Henry, yawning. "No, it isn't," said Peter. "Anyway, you'll find out next week what I'm writing. I've been chosen to read my diary out loud for our class assembly." Horrid Henry's heart turned to ice. Peter read his diary out loud? So the whole school could hear Peter's lies about him? No way! "Gimme that!" screamed Horrid Henry, lunging for the diary. "No!" screamed Peter, holding on tight. "Mom! Help! Henry's in my room! And he didn't knock, and he won't leave!" "Shut up, tattletale!" hissed Henry, forcing Peter's fingers off the diary. "Mom!" shrieked Peter. Mom stomped up the stairs. Henry opened the diary, but before he could read a single word, Mum burst in. "He snatched my diary, and he told me to shut up," wailed Peter. "Henry, stop annoying your brother," said Mom. "I wasn't," said Henry. "Yes, he was," sniveled Peter. "And now you've made him cry," said Mum. "Say sorry." "I was just asking about his homework," protested Henry innocently. "He was trying to read my diary," said Peter. "Henry," said Mum, "don't be horrid. A diary is private. Now leave your brother alone." It was so unfair. Why did Mum always believe Peter? Humph! Horrid Henry stalked out of Peter's bedroom. Well, no way was Henry waiting until class assembly to find out what Peter had written. Sneak, sneak, sneak. Horrid Henry checked to the right. Horrid Henry checked to the left. Mom was downstairs working on the computer. Dad was in the garden. Peter was playing at Goody Goody Gordon's house. At last, the coast was clear. He'd been trying to get hold of Peter's diary for days. There was no time to lose. Tomorrow was Peter's class assembly. Would he mention Sunday's food fight when Henry had been forced to throw soggy pasta at Peter? Or when Henry had to push Peter off the comfy black chair and pinch him? Or yesterday, when Henry banished him from the Purple Hand Club and Peter had run screaming to Mum? A lying, slimy worm like Peter would be sure to make it look like Henry was the villain, when in fact, Peter was always to blame. Even worse, what horrid lies had Peter been making up about him? People would read Peter's ravings and think they were true. When Henry was famous, books would be written about him, and someone would find Peter's diary and believe it. When things were written down, they had a horrible way of seeming to be true, even when they were big, fat lies. Henry sneaked into Peter's bedroom and shut the door. Now, where was that diary? Henry glanced at Peter's tidy desk. Peter kept it on the second shelf, next to his crayons and trophies. The diary was gone. Rats! Peter must have hidden it. That little worm, thought Horrid Henry. Why on earth would he hide his diary? And where on earth would that smelly toad hide it? Behind his good as gold certificates? In the laundry basket? Underneath his stamp collection? He checked Peter's sock drawer. No diary. He checked Peter's underwear drawer. No diary. He peeked under Peter's pillow and under Peter's bed. Still no diary. Okay, where would I hide a diary? Thought Horrid Henry desperately. Easy. I'd put it in a chest and bury it in the garden with a pirate curse on it. Somehow he doubted Perfect Peter would be so clever. Okay, thought Henry. If I were an ugly toad like him, where would I hide it? The bookcase, of course. What better place to hide a book? Henry strolled over to Peter's bookcase with all the books arranged neatly in alphabetical order. Aha! What was that sticking out between the Happy Nappy and the Hoppy Hippo? Gotcha, thought Horrid Henry, yanking the diary off the shelf. At last he would know Peter's secrets. He'd make him cross out all his lies if it was the last thing he did. Horrid Henry sat down and began to read. Monday. Today I drew a picture of my teacher, Miss Lovely. Miss Lovely gave me a gold star for reading. That's because I'm the best reader in the class, and the best at maths, and the best at everything else. Tuesday. Today I said please and thank you 236 times. Wednesday. Today I ate all my vegetables. Thursday. Today I sharpened my pencils. I ate all my sprouts and had seconds. Friday. Today I wrote a poem to my mummy. I love my mummy. I came out of her tummy. Her food is so yummy. She is so scrummy. I love my mummy. Slowly, Horrid Henry closed Peter's diary. He knew Peter's diary would be bad, but never in his worst nightmares had he imagined anything this bad. Perfect Peter hadn't mentioned him once, not once. You'd think I didn't even live in this house, thought Henry. He was outraged. How dare Peter not write about him? And then all the stupid things Peter had written. Henry's name would be mud when people heard Peter's diary in assembly and found out what a sad brother he had. Everyone would tease him. Horrid Henry would never live down the shame. Peter needed Henry's help, and he needed it fast. Horrid Henry grabbed a pencil and got to work. Monday. Today I drew a picture of my teacher, Miss Lovely. I drew her with piggy ears and a great big giant belly. Then I turned it into a dartboard. Miss Lovely gave me a gold star for reading. Miss Lovely is my worst teacher ever. She should really be called Miss Lumpy. Miss Dumpy Lumpy is what Gordon and I call her behind her back. Tee-hee, she'll never know. I'm the best reader in the class, and the best at maths, and the best at everything else. Too bad I have smelly pants and nitty hair. That's more like it, thought Horrid Henry. Tuesday. Today I said please and thank you 236 times. Not. I called Mom a big blobby pants face. I called Dad a stinky fish. Then I played pirates with the world's greatest brother, Henry. I wish I were as clever as Henry, but I know that's impossible. Wednesday. Today I ate all my vegetables. Then I sneaked loads of sweets from the sweet jar and lied to Dad about it. I am a very good liar. No one should ever believe a word I say. Henry gets the blame, but really, everything is always my fault. Thursday. Today I sharpened my pencils. all the better to write rude notes. I ate all my sprouts and had seconds, then threw up all over Mom. Ugh, what a smell! I really am a smelly toad. I am so lucky to have a great brother like Henry. He is always so nice to me. Hip, hip, hooray for Henry! Friday. Today I wrote a poem to my dummy. I love my dummy. It's my best chummy. It tastes so yummy. It is so scrummy. I love my dummy. Much better, thought Horrid Henry. Now that's what I call a diary. Everyone would have died of boredom otherwise. Henry carefully replaced Peter's diary in the bookcase. I hope Peter appreciates what I've done for him, thought Horrid Henry. The entire school gathered in the hall for assembly. Peter's class sat proudly on benches at the front. Henry's class sat cross-legged on the floor. The parents sat on chairs down both sides. Mom and Dad waved at Peter. He waved shyly back. Miss Lovely stood up. Hello, mums and dads, boys and girls. Welcome to our class assembly. This term, our class has been keeping diaries. We're going to read some of them to you now. First to read will be Peter. Everyone pay attention and see if you too can be as good as I know Peter has been. I'd like everyone here to copy one of Peter's good deeds. I know I can't wait to hear how he has spent this last week. Peter stood up and opened his diary. In a big loud voice, he read, Monday. Today I drew a picture of my teacher, Miss Lovely. Peter glanced up at Miss Lovely. She beamed at him. I drew her with piggy ears and a great big giant belly. Then I turned it into a dartboard. What? It was always difficult to read out loud and understand what he had read, but something didn't sound right. He didn't remember writing about a pig with a big belly. Nervously, Peter looked up at Mom and Dad. Was he imagining it, or did their smiles seem more like frowns? Peter shook his head and carried on. Miss Lovely gave me a gold star for reading. Phew, that was better. He must have misheard himself before. Miss Lovely is my worst teacher ever. She should really be called Miss Lumpy. Miss Dumpy Lumpy. Thank you, that's quite enough, interrupted Miss Lovely sternly, as the school erupted in shrieks of laughter. Her face was pink. Peter, see me after assembly. Ted will now tell us all about skeletons. But, gasped Perfect Peter, I never. Sit down and be quiet, said the head Miss Oddbod. I'll see you and your parents later. Wah, wailed Peter. Mom and Dad stared at their feet. Why had they ever had children? Where was a trap door when you needed one? Wah, whimpered Mom and Dad. Naturally, Henry got in trouble. Big, big trouble. It was so unfair. Why didn't anyone believe him when he said he'd improved Peter's diary for his own good? Honestly, he would never ever do Peter a favor again. Story 2. Horrid Henry and the Football Fiend. Horrid Henry and the Football Fiend. And with 15 seconds to go, it's Hot Foot Henry racing across the pitch. Rooney tries to slide tackle, but Henry's too quick. Just look at that step over. Oh no, he can't score from that distance. It's crazy. It's impossible. Oh my goodness, he cornered the ball. It's in. It's in. Another spectacular goal. Another spectacular win. And it's all thanks to Hot Foot Henry, the greatest footballer who ever lived. Goal, 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 roared the crowd. Hot Foot Henry had won the match. His teammates carried him through the fans, cheering and chanting, "Henry! Henry! Henry! Henry!" Horrid Henry looked up to see Miss Battleaxe leaning over his table and glaring at him with her red eyes. "What did I just say?" "Henry," said Horrid Henry. Miss Battleaxe scowled. "I'm watching you, Henry," she snapped. "Now, class, please pay attention. We need to discuss—" "Wah!" wailed Weepy William. "Susan, stop pulling my hair!" squealed vain Violet. "Miss!" shouted Inky Ian. "Ralph snatched my pen." "Didn't!" shouted rude Ralph. "Did!" shouted Inky Ian. "Class, be quiet!" bellowed Miss Battleaxe. "Wah!" wailed Weepy William. "Ow!" squealed vain Violet. "Give it back!" shouted Inky Ian. "Fine," said Miss Battleaxe. "We won't talk about football." William stopped wailing. Violet stopped squealing. Ian stopped shouting. Henry stopped daydreaming. Everyone in the class stared at Miss Battleaxe. Miss Battleaxe wanted to talk about football? Was this an alien Miss Battleaxe? As you all know, our local team, Ashton Athletic, has reached the 6th round of the FA Cup, said Miss Battleaxe. Yay! Shrieked the class. And I'm sure you all know what happened last night. Last night? Henry could still hear the announcer's glorious words as he and Peter had gathered round the radio as the draw for round 6 was announced. Number 16, Ashton Athletic, will be playing. There was a long pause as the announcer drew another ball from the hat. Number 7, Manchester United. Go Ashton! Shrieked Horrid Henry. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, Miss Battleaxe glared at Horrid Henry. Ashton are playing Manchester United in a few weeks. Every local primary school has been given a pair of tickets, and thanks to my good luck in the teacher's draw, the lucky winner will come from our class. Me! Screamed Horrid Henry. Me! Screamed Moody Margaret. Me! Screamed Tough Toby Aerobic. Aerobic Al, Fiery Fiona, and Brainy Brian. No one who shouts out will be getting anything, said Miss Battleaxe. Our class will be playing a football match at lunchtime. The player of the match will win the tickets. I'm the referee, and my decision will be final. Horrid Henry was so stunned that for a moment he could scarcely breathe. FA Cup tickets? FA Cup tickets to see his local team, Ashton, play against Man U? Those tickets were like gold dust. Henry had begged and pleaded with Mom and Dad to get tickets, but naturally they were all sold out by the time Henry's mean, horrible, lazy parents managed to have their stupid bones to the phone. And now here was another chance to go to the match of the century. Ashton Athletic had never got so far in the cup. Sure, they knocked out the Tooting Tigers, chant toot toot grrr, the Pinchley Pythons, and the Cheam Champions, but Manchester United? Henry had to go to the game. He just had to. And all he had to do was be man of the match. There was just one problem. Unfortunately, the best footballer in the class wasn't Horrid Henry, or Aerobic Al, or Beefy Bert. The best footballer in the class was Moody Margaret. The second best player in the class was Moody Margaret. The third best player in the class was Moody Margaret. It was so unfair. Why should Margaret, of all people, be so fantastic at football? Horrid Henry was brilliant at shirt pulling. Horrid Henry was superb at screaming, "Offside!" whatever that meant. No one could howl, "Come on, ref!" louder. And at toe-treading, elbowing, barging, pushing, shoving, and tripping, Horrid Henry had no equal. The other thing Horrid Henry wasn't good at was playing football. But never mind. Today would be different. Today he would dig deep inside and find the power to be Hotfoot Henry for real. Today, no one would stop him. FA Cup match, here I come, thought Horrid Henry gleefully. Lunchtime! Horrid Henry's class dashed to the back playground where the pitch was set up. 2 jumpers either end marked the goals. A few parents gathered on the sidelines. Miss Battleaxe split the class into 2 teams. Aerobic Owl was captain of Henry's team. Moody Margaret was captain of the other. There she stood in midfield, having nabbed a striker position, smirking confidently. Horrid Henry glared at her from the depths of the outfield. "Na, na, 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 I'm sure to be man of the match," trilled Moody Margaret, sticking out her tongue at him. "And you won't." "Shut up, Margaret," said Henry. When he was king, anyone named Margaret would be boiled in oil and fed to the crows. "Will you take me to the match, Margaret?" said Susan. "After all, I'm your best friend." Moody Margaret scowled. "Since when?" "Since always," wailed Susan. "Huh?" said Margaret. "We'll just have to see how nice you are to me, won't we?" "Take me," begged Brainy Brian. "Remember how I helped you with those fractions?" "And called me stupid," said Margaret. "Didn't," said Brian. "Did," said Margaret. Horrid Henry eyed his classmates. Everyone looked straight ahead. Everyone determined to be the man of the match. Well, wouldn't they be in for a shock when Horrid Henry waltzed off with those tickets? "Go, Margaret!" screeched Moody Margaret's mum. "Go, Owl!" screeched Aerobic Owl's dad. "Everyone ready?" said Miss Battleaxe. "Bert, which team are you on?" "I don't know," said Beefy Bert. Miss Battleaxe blew her whistle. "Kick off! Kick! Chase! Kick! Dribble! Dribble! Pass! Kick! Save! Goal kick!" Henry stood disconsolately on the left wing, running back and forth as the play passed him by. How could he ever be man of the match, stuck out here? Well, no way was he staying in this stupid spot a moment longer. Horrid Henry abandoned his position and chased after the ball. All the other defenders followed him. Moody Margaret had the ball. Horrid Henry ran up behind her. He glanced at Miss Battleaxe. She was busy chatting to Miss Oddbod. Horrid Henry went for a 2-foot slide tackle and tripped her. "Foul!" screeched Margaret. "He hacked my leg." "Liar!" screeched Henry. "I just went for the ball." "Cheater!" screamed Moody Margaret's mum. "Play on," ordered Miss Battleaxe. Yes, thought Horrid Henry triumphantly. After all, what did blind old Miss Battleaxe know about the rules of football? Nothing. This was his golden chance to score. Now Jazzy Jim had the ball. Horrid Henry trod on his toes, elbowed him, and grabbed the ball. "Hey, we're on the same team," yelped Jim. Horrid Henry kept dribbling. "Pass, pass!" screamed Al. "Man on!" Henry ignored him. Pass the ball? Was Al mad? For once, Henry had the ball, and he was keeping it. Then suddenly, Moody Margaret appeared from behind, barged him, dribbled the ball past Henry's team, and kicked it straight past Weepy William into goal. Moody Margaret's team cheered. Weepy William burst into tears. "Wah!" wailed Weepy William. "Idiot!" screamed Aerobic Owl's dad. "She cheated!" shrieked Henry. "She fouled me!" "Didn't!" said Margaret. "How dare you call my daughter a cheater?" screamed Margaret's mum. Miss Battleaxe blew her whistle. "Goal to Margaret's team! The score is 1-0. Horrid Henry gritted his teeth. He would score a goal if he had to trample on every player to do so. Unfortunately, everyone else seemed to have the same idea. "Ralph pushed me," shrieked Aerobic Owl. "Didn't," lied Rude Ralph. "It was just a barge." "He used his hands. I saw him," howled Owl's father. "Send him off." "I'll send you off if you don't behave," snapped Miss Battleaxe, looking up and blowing her whistle. "It was kept in," protested Henry. "No way," shouted Margaret. "It went past the line." "That was ball in hand," yelled kind Cassim. "No way," screamed Aerobic Owl. "I just went for the ball." "Liar! Liar!" "Free kick to Margaret's team," said Miss Battleaxe. "Ouch!" screamed Soraya as Brian stepped on her toes, grabbed the ball and headed it into goal past Cassim. "Hooray!" cheered Owl's team. "Foul!" screamed Margaret's team. "Score is 1-1, said Miss Battleaxe. 5 more minutes to go. "Arr!" thought Horrid Henry. "I've got to score a goal to have a chance to be man of the match. I've just got to. But how? How?" Henry glanced at Miss Battleaxe. She appeared to be rummaging in her handbag. Henry saw his chance. He stuck out his foot as Margaret hurtled past. Crash! Margaret tumbled. Henry seized the ball. "Henry hacked my leg!" shrieked Margaret. "Did not!" shrieked Henry. "I just went for the ball." "Ref!" screamed Margaret. "He cheated!" screamed Margaret's mom. "Are you blind, Ref?" Miss Battleaxe glared. "My eyesight is perfect, thank you," she snapped. "Tee-hee," chortled Horrid Henry. Henry trod on Brian's toes, elbowed him, then grabbed the ball. Then Dave elbowed Henry. Ralph trod on Dave's toes, and Susan seized the ball and kicked it high overhead. Henry looked up. The ball was high, high up. He'll never reach it. Not unless... Henry glanced at Miss Battleaxe. She was watching a traffic warden patrolling outside the school gate. Henry leapt into the air and whacked the ball with his hand. Thwack! The ball hurled across the goal. "Goal!" screamed Henry. "He used his hands," protested Margaret. "No way!" shouted Henry. "It was the hand of God." "Henry! Henry! Henry!" cheered his team. "Unfair!" howled Margaret's team. Miss Battleaxe blew her whistle. "Time!" she bellowed. "Owl's team wins, 2-1. "Yes!" shrieked Horrid Henry, punching the air. He'd scored the winning goal. He'd be man of the match. Aston Athletic versus Man U. Here I come. Horrid Henry's class limped through the door and sat down. Horrid Henry sat at the front, beaming. Miss Battleaxe had to award him the tickets after his brilliant performance and spectacular game-winning goal. The question was, who deserved to be his guest? No one. "I know," thought Horrid Henry. "I'll sell my other ticket. Bet I get £1,000,000 for it. No, £1,000,000,000. Then I'll buy my own team and play striker any time I want to." Horrid Henry smiled happily. Miss Battleaxe glared at her class. "That was absolutely disgraceful," she said. "Cheating, moving the goals, shirt-tugging." She glared at Graham. "Barging." She glowered at Ralph. Pushing and shoving, bad sportsmanship. Her eyes swept over the class. Horrid Henry sank lower in his seat. "Oops. And don't get me started about offside," she snapped. Horrid Henry sank even lower. "There was only one person who deserved to be player of the match," she continued. One person who observed the rules of the beautiful game. One person who has nothing to be ashamed of today." Horrid Henry's heart leapt. He certainly had nothing to be ashamed of. One person who can truly be proud of their performance. Horrid Henry beamed with pride. And that person is... "Me!" screamed moody Margaret. "Me!" screamed aerobic Al. "Me!" screamed Horrid Henry. "The referee," said Miss Battleaxe. "What? Miss Battleaxe, man of the match? Miss Battleaxe, a football fiend? It's not fair!" screamed the class. "It's not fair!" screamed Horrid Henry. Story 3. Horrid Henry Goes Shopping. Horrid Henry Goes Shopping. Horrid Henry stood in his bedroom up to his knees in clothes. The long-sleeved, stripy t-shirt came to his elbow. His trousers stopped halfway down his legs. Henry sucked in his tummy as hard as he could. Still, the zip wouldn't zip. "Nothing fits!" he screamed, yanking off the shirt and hurling it across the room. "And my shoes hurt!" "All right, Henry, calm down," said Mum. "You've grown. We'll go out this afternoon and get you some new clothes and shoes." "No!" shrieked Henry. "No!" Horrid Henry hated shopping. Correction. Horrid Henry loved shopping. He loved shopping for gigantic TVs, computer games, comics, toys, and sweets. Yet for some reason, Horrid Henry's parents never wanted to go shopping for good stuff. Oh, no. They shopped for Hoover bags, toothpaste, spinach, socks. Why, oh, why did he have such horrible parents? When he was grown up, he'd never set foot in a supermarket. He'd only shop for TVs, computer games, and chocolate. But shopping for clothes was even worse than heaving his heavy bones round the happy shopper supermarket. Nothing was more boring than being dragged round miles and miles and miles of shops, filled with disgusting clothes only a mutant would ever want to wear, and then standing in a little room while Mom made you try on icky, scratchy things you wouldn't be seen dead in if they were the last trousers on earth. It was horrible enough getting dressed once a day without doing it 50 times. Just thinking about trying on shirt after shirt after shirt made Horrid Henry want to scream. "I'm not going shopping," he howled, kicking the pile of clothes as viciously as he could, "and you can't make me." "What's all this yelling?" demanded Dad. "Henry needs new trousers," said Mum grimly. Dad went pale. "Are you sure?" "Yes," said Mum. "Take a look at him." Dad looked at Henry, and Henry scowled. "They're a little small, but not that bad," said Dad. "I can't breathe in these trousers," shrieked Henry. "That's why we're going shopping," said Mum, "and I'll take him." Last time, Dad had taken Henry shopping for socks and came back instead with 3 Harry Hellhound CDs and a jumbo pack of Dayglow slime. "I don't know what came over me," Dad had said when Mom told him off. "But why do I have to go?" said Henry. "I don't want to waste my precious time shopping." "What about my precious time?" said Mum. Henry scowled. Parents didn't have precious time. They were there to serve their children. New trousers should just magically appear, like clean clothes and packed lunches. Mum's face brightened. "Wait, I have an idea," she beamed. She rushed out and came back with a large plastic bag. "Here," she said, pulling out a pair of bright red trousers. "Try these on." Henry looked at them suspiciously. "Where are they from?" "Aunt Ruby dropped off some of Steve's old clothes a few weeks ago. I'm sure we'll find something that fits you." Horrid Henry stared at Mum. Had she gone gaga? Was she actually suggesting that he should wear his horrible cousin's moldy old shirts and pungy pants? Just imagine putting his arms into the same stinky sleeves that stuck-up Steve had slimed. Ugh! No way! Screamed Henry, shuddering. I'm not wearing Steve's smelly old clothes. I'd catch rabies. They're practically brand new, said Mum. I don't care, said Henry. But Henry, said Perfect Peter, I always wear your hand-me-downs. So, snarled Henry. I don't mind wearing hand-me-downs, said Perfect Peter. It saves so much money. You shouldn't be so selfish, Henry. Quite right, Peter, said Mum, smiling. At least one of my sons thinks about others. Horrid Henry pounced. He was a vampire sampling his supper. Aye! Squealed Peter. Stop that, Henry, screamed Mum. Leave your brother alone, screamed Dad. Horrid Henry glared at Peter. Peter is a worm. Peter is a toad, jeered Henry. Mom, wailed Peter. Henry said I was a worm and a toad. Don't be horrid, Henry, said Dad, or no TV for a week. You have 3 choices. Wear Steve's old clothes, wear your old clothes, go shopping for new ones today. Do we have to go today? Moaned Henry. Fine, said Mum. We'll go tomorrow. I don't want to go tomorrow, wailed Henry. My weekend will be ruined. Mom glared at Henry. Then we'll go right now this minute. No, screamed Horrid Henry. Yes, screamed Mom. Several hours later, Mom and Henry walked into Mellow Mall. Mom already looked like she had been crossing the Sahara Desert without water for days. Serve her right for bringing me here, thought Horrid Henry, scowling as he scuffed his feet. Can't we go to Shop and Drop? Whined Henry. Graham says they've got to win your weight in chocolate competition. No, said Mum, dragging Henry into Zippy's department store. We're here to get you some new trousers and shoes. Now hurry up, we don't have all day. Horrid Henry looked around. Wow, there was lots of great stuff on display. I want the hip-hop robots, said Henry. No, said Mum. I want the new Super Soaker, screeched Henry. No, said Mom. I want a creepy crawly lunchbox. No, said Mom, pulling him into the boys' clothing department. What, thought Horrid Henry grimly, is the point of going shopping if you never buy anything? I want Root-a-Toot trainers with flashing red lights, said Henry. He could see himself now, strolling into class, a bugle blasting and red lights flashing every time his feet hit the floor. Cool. He'd love to see Miss Battleaxe's face when he exploded into class wearing them. No, said Mom, shuddering. Oh, please, said Henry. No, said Mom. We're here to buy trousers and sensible school shoes. But I want Root-a-Toot trainers, screamed Horrid Henry. Why can't we buy what I want to buy? You are the meanest mother in the world, and I hate you. Don't be horrid, Henry. Go and try these on, said Mom, grabbing a selection of hideous trousers and revolting t-shirts. I'll keep looking. Horrid Henry sighed loudly and slumped toward the dressing room. No one in the world suffered as much as he did. Maybe he could hide between the clothes racks and never come out. Then something wonderful in the toy department next door caught his eye. Whoa! A whole row of the new Megalatronic Animabotic robots with 213 programmable actions. Horrid Henry dumped the clothes and ran over to have a look. Oh, the new intergalactic samurai gorillas, which launched real stink bombs, and the latest super soakers, and deluxe dungeon drink kits with a celebrity chef recipe book, to say nothing of the Mega World goo shooter, which sprayed fluorescent goo for 50 meters in every direction. Wow! Mum staggered into the dressing room with more clothes. Henry? Said Mum. No reply. Henry, said Mum. Still no reply. Mum yanked open a dressing room door. "Heh? Excuse me," yelped a bald man. "Sorry," said Mom, blushing bright pink. She dashed out of the changing room and scanned the shop floor. Henry was gone. Mum searched up the aisles. No Henry. Mom searched down the aisles. Still no Henry. Then Mom saw a tuft of hair sticking up behind the neon sign for ballistic bazooka boomerangs. She marched over and hauled Henry away. "I was just looking," protested Henry. Henry tried on one pair of trousers after another. "No, no, 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 no," said Henry, kicking off the final pair. "I hate all of them." "All right," said Mum grimly. "We'll look somewhere else." Mum and Henry went to top trousers. They went to cool clothes. They went to stomp in the swamp. Nothing had been right. "Too tight," moaned Henry. "Too itchy. Too big. Too small. Too ugly. Too red. Too uncomfortable." "We're going to tip-top togs," said Mummy wearily. "The first thing that fits, we're buying." Mum staggered into the children's department and grabbed a pair of pink and green tartan trousers in Henry's size. "Try these on," she ordered. "If they fit, we're having them." Horrid Henry gazed in horror at the horrendous trousers. "Those are girls' trousers," he screamed. "They are not," said Mum. "Are too," shrieked Henry. "I'm sick and tired of your excuses." "Henry," said Mum, "put them on or no pocket money for a year. I mean it." Horrid Henry put on the pink and green tartan trousers, puffing out his stomach as much as possible. Not even Mum would make him buy trousers that were too tight. Oh no, the horrible trousers had an elastic waist. They would fit a mouse as easily as an elephant. "And lots of room to grow," said Mum brightly. "You can wear them for years. Perfect." "No!" howled Henry. He flung himself on the floor, kicking and screaming. "No, they're girls' trousers." "We're buying them," said Mum. She gathered up the tartan trousers and stomped over to the till. She tried not to think about starting all over again, trying to find a pair of shoes that Henry would wear. A little girl in pigtails walked out of the dressing room, twirling in pink and green tartan trousers. "I love them, Mummy," she shrieked. "Let's get 3 pairs." Horrid Henry stopped howling. He looked at Mum. Mum looked at Henry. Then they both looked at the pink and green tartan trousers Mom was carrying. "Root-a-toot! Root-a-toot! Root-a-toot-toot-toot!" An ear-splitting bugle blast shook the house. Flashing red lights bounced off the walls. "What's that noise?" said Dad, covering his ears. "What noise?" said Mum, pretending to read. "Root-a-toot! Root-a-toot! Root-a-toot-toot-toot!" Dad stared at Mum. "You didn't," said Dad. "Not a root-a-toot trainers." Mum hid her face in her hands. "I don't know what came over me," said Mum.